Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopefully elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, the Most High, the Heavenly Father. His Hebrew name is Yahweh, not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah. It's Yahweh. His only begotten son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christus, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua. It's Yahweh Shah. So we got to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rikah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders over all of Israel, whether you can accept it or not. And a sincere salutation to all the occupants pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four ends of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect. And shalom to the Agwathium who are listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah from the GMS Orlando camp, coming into another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification, another daily edification. Lord's willing, this be edifying. And I'm going to title this, He humble and croucheth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. And he's using people like Killer Mike and Kamala Harris to make the Jakes fall, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans fall by his strong ones, which they put to deceive 2/3 of Jake, man, like they used Barack Obama, okay, to make Jake fall by his strong ones. So Lord willing, be edifying. This is for educational purposes only. This is not for monetary gain. I do not own a copyright to this video, to these videos. It's for educational purposes only. Lord willing, be edifying. But this is what's happening. This is going to lead to the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast.
The Fed is about to issue free digital dollars for every American. But don't be mistaken, that will come with a price. In an attempt to conceal their massive inflation targets, defending the plan would solely provide further support for unemployment households. The Federal Reserve is now unleashing its helicopter money 2.0. However,
now you heard he said it will come with a price. And it will come with a price. This digital currency will come with a price, man.
The creation of digital money may arrive at the expense of the total devastation of the currency, staggering hyperinflation, and the forgiveness of the colossal national debt. That's why today we gathered numerous experts' insights that outline the real implications of this measure to the fragile U.S. economy and explain how the shift to a digital currency might allow the institution to surveil every transaction ever made using their app. So stay tuned and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with friends, and subscribe to our channel not to miss the next unfoldings of the U.S. economic collapse. Recently, the Fed has accepted that its favorite stimulus pathway has failed to boost the broader economy. But instead of reviewing its current money printing policy, Fed officials decided to put the blame on how it is intermediated, particularly the way it creates excess reserves that ultimately end at commercial banks, instead tracking its path down to consumer level. That is to say, even though the institution doesn't admit, since it introduced QE and NI or P, the Fed has only worsened the situation it has been trying to fix, while continued to expand the biggest asset price bubble in history. Right after the start of the widespread shutdowns and the huge spike in unemployment, the Fed has tried to short-circuit this process, and hand in hand with the Treasury, it has issued its first round of helicopter money, which provided the direct transference of funds to U.S. corporations via PPP loans, and also to end consumers via the emergency $600 weekly unemployment benefits. But the $1 trillion stimulus relief wore off at an extremely fast pace, even before millions of workers had the chance to file claims to receive some help. Despite the economy increasing needs for a massive liquidity tsunami, the funds created by the Fed and Treasury still never manage to reach those who need them the most, the end consumers. Now, with the alleged goal of reaching consumers who have been traditionally underserved by financial institutions, the Cleveland Fed website has disclosed that legislation has proposed that each American have an account at the Fed in which digital dollars could be deposited as liabilities of the Federal Reserve banks, which could be used for emergency payments. Although the measure might look like a form of assistance to the American people, analysts have been warning that this is the perfect opportunity for them to raise surveillance on the public's transactions. The launch of a digital currency would give the agency the possibility to start getting rid of the anonymous physical currency and eventually track every single banknote from its app.
So you heard him, man. This ain't gonna be something that's gonna be good for the people, man. It's gonna be good for who? The Joe 9 and 24s, man. These are doomies. So they can do what? Have you tracked, man. Because they said that we are what? We are just cattle, man. Okay? And they want everybody tracked, man. That's the whole point of giving a person an all. Which when you go back and read it in the law, an all is given to a servant, man. Okay? This man you making your master, so you're going to take the all from him, that you shall serve him forever, man. That's the whole point of being RFID microchipped, man.
All the banking operations ever made, and also it would have access to users' private information throughout its duration.
Right.
At some point, the Fed could also obliterate such digital currency and wipe out people's accounts. But as experts have been pointing out, for the time being, their aim is to successfully disintermediate commercial banks, since it would both offer loans to US consumers and directly deposit funds into their accounts. In that way, the agency would have the power to actually make the entire traditional banking system obsolete. And before you think this is some type of tinfoil theory Fed opposers are trying to propagate in order to discredit the agency, the institution itself admitted its intentions in a recent statement, transmitted on their website. Here goes what they said word by word. Other proposals would create a new payment instrument, digital cash, which would be just like the physical currency issued by central banks today, but in it.
Now let me show you something, because this is what they're going to do, man. This is what they're going to do. And you Jakes, 2/3 of Negro, Latino, Native American, West Indian Haitians are going to take it.
Oh, wait. Just tell me what I need to do to get paid.
If you remain on Staten Island during the experiment, you will receive monetary compensation of $5,000.
You'll give me $5,000 just to stay home during this thing?
Like he just said, man, they gotta give you the money, wipe your debt clean, and hey, all you gotta do is just take this RFID microchip.
Do you know if I stayed?
We would implant a tracking device in your arm. Not harmful. And if you decide to participate beyond that, there would be further compensation.
What do you mean, participate?
Go out, release your anger.
You mean kill someone?
And that's what they want Jake to do all the time, man. They pumping guns in the hood, right? Instead of dumping guns off. That's what they want you to do, man. Okay? They want to control you, and they want you to kill yourselves, man.
If you feel compelled.
And this is the reaction of all 2/3 of so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indian Haitians. This is their reaction.
Okay, let's do this. I need the money.
You see? That's Jake. All day. Let's look at this one.
You're angry.
Yes. Angry. Very angry.
You want to release that anger?
I need to.
Thank you for your honest answers. First, a few formalities. Batesius,
The official flower of the experiment, they represent rebirth.
The Theseus, that represents the flower that represents rebirth. When? When they came back out of the Caucasus Mountain, man. Okay? To deceive the world, as it tell you in Revelation chapter 20, man. Okay? Rebirth. Right? What's rebirth? Renaissance, man. Them coming back into power, man. Renaissance, iconoclasm, whitewashing, rebirth.
In the box you have recording lenses, contacts. Should you choose to actively participate, wear them on the evening and they'll document everything you do.
And this what they want Jake to do, man. Even though we under the curses. Hey, but they promote it, man. They push it even further, man. That's what the Lord said. They help forward the afflictions, man. This is one of the ways that them help forward the afflictions, man. Putting guns in the hood, man. Drugs in the hood. So we can kill ourselves, man.
As I said, greater participation yields greater financial compensation. Next, we'll implant a tracking device. After that, you'll be all set, as I say, to purge.
You see? And they using guys like this as they strong ones, man, to deceive you. Like I was saying. This is Killer Mike and the creation of Greenwood, a bank-owned, a black-owned digital bank, man.
On a new episode of 60 and 6 on Quibi, rapper and activist Killer Mike revealed he is co-founder of a black-owned bank called Greenwood. 60 and 6 on Quibi correspondent Wesley Lowery interviewed Killer Mike to discuss what led to the founding of the digital bank. Here's a clip from that interview.
All the movements have commonalities, even in our differences. One big commonality we have in the movements in terms of having the same masters or oppressors or people that kind of hold marginalized people down is they control the money. And whoever controls the money in politics, whether it's a lobbyist group or a billionaire that decides he wants to see his friend in Senate or mayoral office, that money kind of dominates.
Hey, so they use guys like that and they give them to put together these type of speeches to reel in you do 2/3 Jakes, man. Making it seem like he against the oppressor, right? He against the ones that control the money. Killer Mike ain't against these people, man. He's being used as one of the strong ones, like it say in Psalms 10 and 10, man. He croucheth and humble himself that he may make the poor fall by his strong ones, man. They coming off as they all nice and humble and good, and they using Jake to deceive you, man. For the most part, because Kamala Harris, she is a heathen, man. She's not an Israelite. She is a terror, man. Okay? So they're using guys like this, man, to deceive Jake, man.
Digital form and potentially without the anonymity of physical currency. Depending on how these currencies are designed, central banks could support them without the need for commercial bank involvement via direct issuance into the end user's digital wallets, combined with central bank facilitated transfer and redemption services. With that said, their plan to deposit digital dollars to each American essentially bypasses Congress and gives the agency targeted fiscal stimulus capabilities. In that sense, it could trigger a substantial reflationary spike, since the marginal price setters for economic goods and services is the lower income segment of the American society. Furthermore, since the Fed already implemented average inflation targeting, the consequent explosion of inflation would be evaluated as insufficient on its own to prompt a change to tighten the institution's monetary policy. In fact, months ago, Zero Hedge has already alerted that even as inflation rages, the Fed would have a semantic loophole to justify why it needs to keep inflation scorching hot, despite the fact the standard of living in America is steadily collapsing to the benefit of a handful of asset holders. Their outlook of the agency's plan describes that, absent a massive burst of inflation in the coming years, which inflates away the hundreds of trillions in federal debt, The debt tsunami that is coming would mean the end to the American way of life as we know it. Now that the institution is in the final stages of a process that will revolutionize the entire fiat monetary system, the creation of digital dollars will not only remove commercial banks as financial intermediaries or enable the generation of a universal basic income by making direct deposits into Americans' digital wallets, but also it will turn Congress and the entire legislative branch redundant, while a handful of technocrats quietly assume control of the United States. By contrast, Fed Chair Jerome Powell continues to argue that the only reasons behind the coming digital dollars are related to the prospects of providing faster and cheaper transactions for the population to receive additional emergency benefits, while addressing the decline in the use of physical money through the modernization of the payments infrastructure, which would finally reach the end consumers who were previously deprived of broad access to financial institutions. Additionally, as the Fed is not set to sell the narrative of direct transfer of money to the rest of the world and the broader US population, former Fed's Julia Coronado explains that this is supposedly the most efficient from a macroeconomic standpoint in supporting spending and confidence. The fear of unemployment acts as an accelerant in a recession. There's a shock. People are losing their jobs or worry about losing their jobs. They get very risk averse. By getting money to the consumers, you can limit the depth and duration of a recession. Clearly, this short circuit to a broken monetary transmission mechanism is only envisioning to facilitate universal basic income so that it becomes possible to legitimize limitless issuance of helicopter money and an unprecedented overhaul of how money reaches Americans.
You see, it said universal, man, right? Which uni meaning one and versal meaning to turn, man. To turn everybody to one. One what, man? One government, one world, right? One currency. That's why Revelation 13 and 16 say what it says, man. For he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, man. Universal, man. Uni is one, versal is to turn, man. To turn everybody into one, man. Okay?
Of course, it would be too shocking to profess that, essentially, the Fed's true motive is to trigger a runaway inflation that could incite a major response amongst discontented Americans when they find out that the cash made available for free to help them.
Right. To help them. Right. It's Proverbs 3 and 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Don't be amazed at what you see this devil doing, right? As it says in Revelation. Let's read this. Revelation 13 and verse 14. And deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. You see? Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. So, and deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. This seems like a miracle, man. Through these deceiving means, man. Oh, they transitioning. We being transitioned from paper to digital. No, man. This is he deceived the world by these means of miracles, man. We are living in an illusion, man. Imaginary. That's why I said 2 Corinthians 10 that we casting down the imaginations, man. And deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. As a matter of fact, let's look up this word means in Revelation 13 and 14. Real quick, Lord willing. Go into the blue letter. Let's look this word up. So this is Revelation 13 in verse 14. Just look up this word means. Salakia. So the word is
Strong's G 4592. Semayon. Semayon.
actually they don't got well, they just got by miracles. A sign, mark, token. It's a, I guess it's a word for miracles. It don't have means. It's a that by which a person or a thing is distinguished from others and is known. A sign, prodigy. It's a i.e. an unusual occurrence transcending the common course of nature. And that's what they doing, man. They changing the course of what the world would call nature, man. From I forgot the word. The things that's obsolete, man, right? To digital. It's a of sign pretending remarkable events soon to happen, of miracles and wonders by which God often authenticates that it's the men sent by him, or by which men prove that the cause they are pleading God's. It's a sign, miracles, wonders, tokens, an indication, especially ceremonial or supernatural miracle, sign, token, wonder. So let's go to Google and look up means. It said by the means of those miracles, which we seeing, man. And they ain't no damn miracles, man. By the signs, man. It's let's look up that. Okay, it got definition.
Means.
An action or system by which a result is brought about, a method. Right. Money. To say money, financial resource. So yeah, man. Let me look up one more. It say means functioning as singular or plural, the medium, method, or instrument used to obtain a result or achieve an end, a means of communication, man. These devils, hey, by the means of these miracles, Jake is falling for the okie doke, man. Let's finish this.
Was not a gift from the Fed, nor a way to support them during the current recession. But actually, it would end up disrupting their cost of living in very short notice. Even the prominent Double Line has recently published an article admitting that's the case and alerting that the Pandora's box of Fed's digital currency will ignite an inflationary conflagration. Likewise, BOFA chief investment strategist has released a piece in which he unveils the truth about digital currencies. Hartnett starts his argumentation by briefly presenting the history of revolutionary monetary policies, noting that in the past 13 years, central banks have cut interest rates 972 times, bought $19 trillion of financial assets via QE, introduced NIRP, ZIRP, YCC, TLTROS, which resulted in a near record $16.8 trillion of negatively yielding global bonds. In this table, he lays out the 15 key revolutionary events in monetary policy since the Bear Stearns collapse, which asserts that The next frontier for central bank revolution is the use of digital currencies as a conduit for policies such as universal basic income, modern monetary theory, student debt forgiveness, to induce sustained rise in inflation expectations. The strategist, which has been one of the sharpest minds in summarizing trends into an actionable recommendation, highlights one simple tip: own inflation assets. Moreover, the bet on continued dollar debasement can also be sustained, considering his examination have found that the US 5S 30S yield curve, now steepest, down 125 BPS since November of 2016. On the other hand, the Chinese renminbi is at 2-year highs. Bitcoin is evaluated at $13,000, and gold is the best performing asset class for the first time since 2010. And the kickstart for the promulgation of the Fed's long-awaited plan, as he observed, could actually generate real inflation. It could be beneficial for not only avoiding negative rates, but creating a more healthy interest rate market, a more healthy yield curve. In simple terms, the agency's decision to give money to the lower and middle classes, which of course are the ones who need the most and are most likely to spend it, is what is going to create the exorbitant level of inflation the Fed always needed to keep endorsing their reckless policies. To further illustrate the central bank's attempt to unleash a massive hyperinflation across the globe in hopes of dispersing the world's most untenable debt load, we present double-line fixed income portfolio manager Bill Campbell's assessment that exposes that the temptations of central bank digital currency, also known as CBDC, are not limited to excesses in monetary policy. CBDCs also appear to be an effective mechanism for bypassing the taxation, debt issuance, and spending prerogatives of government to implement a quasi-fiscal policy. Imagine, for example, the ease of enacting modern monetary theory via CBDCs. With CBDCs, the central banks would possess the necessary plumbing to directly deliver a digital currency to individuals' bank accounts, ready to be spent via debit cards. The expert quotes Charles I. Plosner's warning in 2012 that says, "Once a central bank ventures into fiscal policy, it is likely to find itself under increasing pressure from the private sector, financial markets, or the government to use its balance sheet to substitute for other fiscal decisions." Campbell continues by emphasizing that, with a flick of the digital switch, CBDCs can enable policymakers to meet or cave into those demands at the risk of igniting an inflation conflagration, abandoning what little still survives of sovereign fiscal discipline, and who knows what else. In conclusion, Campbell discloses to hope the leaders of the world's central banks will approach this new financial technology with extreme caution, guarding against its overuse or outright abuse. It's hard to be optimistic. Soon our monetary Pandoras will possess their own box full of new powers, perhaps too enticing to resist. But since there's only so much we can expect from authorities, it's better to get prepared to see digital dollars collapsing the paper dollars, while prompting a huge hyperinflation and deteriorating even further the American standard of living.
And that's what it is, man. Let's play a little bit of this. And I'm going to close out. I'm going to get one precept and close out.
Value of all gold mined worldwide over all of human history, $12 trillion. The value of fiat currencies doled out by governments in 2020 as an economic response to the pandemic, $12 trillion. 22% of all dollars in the M2 money supply were created since the pandemic started. Another stimulus package is about to be unleashed, and this number will go well over 30%. This is the most inflationary time in the history of humankind on a global basis as well as in the US. The dollar is worth 1/25 of what it was 100 years ago, and has lost 30% of its value since 2002, 10% of its value since the beginning of this year alone. The fiscal outlook for America is not good either. It may be going the wrong way now, but that's a short-term trend in a much larger long-term picture based on fundamentals. U.S. debt set to exceed the size of the economy, the first time since World War II. The expected budget deficit of $3.3 trillion would be more than triple the shortfall recorded in 2019. Is this not the best time to acquire physical gold and silver? QE and the pandemic relief spending all the same result inflation. We cannot keep printing new money at a rate faster than our economic growth without causing inflation. In the short term, it's difficult to predict whether we are heading into a deflationary depression.
And if you can see, and we head into a depression. And you can see, this is what the devil do, man. Let's read this and I'm going to close out. This is Psalms 10:7. Salakia. Psalms chapter 10, verse 10. He croucheth and humble himself, right? Make you feel like you can trust him. That the poor, which is who? You so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indian Haitians, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. So anyone they put in office, you're like, okay, he seemed like a good guy. He for the black people. Or he for whoever. No, man. This is them setting up their strong ones, man. He croucheth and humble himself. He playing like, deceiving you like he could be trusted. He ain't the same guy that had our ancestors in slavery. This is a total different Idumean. No, it's not, man. His rust cannot altogether be wiped away, man. This is the same ones, man. Okay? Who robbed, murdered, pillaged, plundered the planet, man. This is the same guy, man. He cannot be trusted. Let's read this again. Psalms 10:10. He croucheth and humble himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. And they set up these bug-out devils like Killer Mike and Kamala Harris, which is a terror, by the way, to deceive Jake, man. To deceive you. The only ones who are going to fall by this, though, is 2/3 of you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian Haitians. 2/3 is going to be deceived by this. Why? By the means of those miracles, man. Because they are not miracles. This devil does not perform miracles, man. Only miracles come from Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah. And if you following this madness, you will get caught up, man. You will be drugged out. And like it's saying, what is that, real quick. Is that, 2 Timothy 3, if I ain't mistaken? Right. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women, laden with sins, led away with divers lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. And this also talking about men, man. Again, 2 Timothy 3:6. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women and men, laden with sins, led away with divers lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Why, Lord? 1 Timothy 6:10. For the love of money is the root to all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows, man. And you're going to die a grievous and horrible death. Thus saith Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Lord, witness of edifying. Got to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rikak Kodash, the bonus to the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders over all of Israel, whether you can accept it or not. And a sincere salutation to all the Akim pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect. And shalom to the Akwathium who are listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. Lord, will us edifying. Till next time I say shalom, wa abar babal. Sometime it crazy about closing out. Salakia.